Hey guys, I hope everyone's settling in okay. I wanted to make a quick little video that you can watch at your leisure about the upcoming Part 2 grant proposal that's due. I thought it might be helpful to just walk through together the components of the assignment and give you a little bit of a refresher about some of the things that are in it. Starting with the secondary data assignment that you did right before we kind of left for spring break and then ended up not returning. You are going to use that secondary data in this part of your grant proposal. So if you haven't done that assignment yet, definitely go back and take a look at those assignment details, maybe refresh yourself with some of the materials that Dr. Zimmerman shared with us when she visited class. All those handouts are up on Canvas under the modules. If you did complete the assignment, take a look at the comments that I made on your assignment. And if you get a chance, if you haven't already completed your part 2, try to incorporate some of those minor comments. If you don't get a chance this time, that's okay. You'll have a chance to revise it again before your final paper anyway. So I'm going to try and share my screen with you so that we can just do a quick walkthrough of the proposal assignment. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm looking at part 2 of your grant proposal assignment details. And as a reminder, this file, you can find it in Canvas under Files. I think it's in the folder called Course Planning, the same folder that has the syllabus in it. So part 2, it's going to open up with your community definition. And this is where you're going to use that piece of secondary data. This whole section of the grant proposal is about describing using data the problem that you're trying to address. So remember, in part 1, all you really did was introduce your research issue, state your research questions, and provide a short literature review, demonstrating that the questions you're asking come out of a familiarity with the scientific literature. But now we're actually turning to the practical case where you're going to apply this question, right? So why is the population that you're going to work with in this community research the ideal population to help you answer this question? And what else do we sort of need to know about the problem to understand how big of a deal it is? That's a way to kind of think about this section. And so the way that these guidelines are written are to try to just help you find a way to present that in a compelling way and get a starting place to begin. So this community definition really means, going and looking at the demographics of the community you're talking about. So if you're talking about UK college students, you might talk about their different income levels, if that kind of data is available. If it's not, you might use data from National Public Four-Year University. Whatever data you've already selected from the secondary data assignment, most of you had good choices about that. And so, if you're writing primarily about a population in your grant proposal, I would definitely recommend that you use some type of data about that population. Now, Dr. Zimmerman showed us a way to find median rental prices of neighborhoods around campus using census data. That could be another way to go, where, instead of describing the demographics of the UK population, it might be more appropriate to talk about, well, what are the housing costs that students are facing? How have those housing costs changed over time? And does that relate somehow back to this issue of privatized dorms? On the other hand, if you are working with a population, like some of you are working on issues of mental illness and how the dorm structures affect that, you don't necessarily have to find data that's about architecture of dorms in order to find secondary data that's relevant. It's enough to just find secondary data to say, how prevalent are mental health issues among the college student population? How much do we need to be thinking about this, and why are we not thinking more about the kind of social interaction that the residence halls either do or don't promote? And so these are just about finding some very basic descriptive statistics about the population, about the place, or about the issue. So you want to open up with a data-based analysis of the population where you're doing the research in a way that is going to convince the funder that this is the ideal population to be doing this with, or at least it's representative of a lot of people, not just at the University of Kentucky, but maybe all across the country who might be experiencing whatever problem your research question's about. Now, the next little piece of it, I recommend that you go into discussing what resources are already available that you can bring into the fold of this research process. This is about showing that it's feasible for you to do the work. So, for example, you might mention the counseling center on campus, right? They may be interested in working with you if you're working on a mental health problem. And this is where you can use your imagination a little bit and think about all the different organizations or student groups or departments on campus that you could use, or even off campus, community organizations, fair housing organizations, who might somehow have something to offer for this project to take shape. Right? So for example, you're going to need to recruit students, maybe if you're going to do a survey. How are you going to get them to do that survey? Well, one asset could be your involvement in a fraternity or a sorority that can help you get access to a student population. Or one asset could be that we have a Qualtrics subscription here at UK that's accessible to students. Qualtrics is a survey software that makes it really easy to administer surveys online. The next piece of it is going to be talking about the gaps. What are the resources that you need? So this is a funding proposal, right? You're asking for money. So where are the holes that you're going to need some funding to make it happen? Maybe you have the people and you have the contacts through your assets, but you're going to need a conference room to meet in, or we're social distancing. Maybe you need some kind of platform to make it possible to have community meetings about cost of living remotely, right? Maybe you need an expert facilitator that you're going to have to pay to help you with some of those conversations. Another way of thinking about this section, about the resources needed, is to think about how doing this research is going to create more resources, right? Maybe there are a lot of assets on campus. There are a lot of organizations that are concerned about student mental health or that are concerned about the rising cost of campus living, but they're not coming together in any meaningful way. They're having parallel conversations. Well, your research project can come in and fill that gap and say, hey, this is a community-based process where we can take all this energy and channel it into something productive. The next little piece of it is why your group, right? Why are you the best people to lead this work? And again, this is where you can use your imagination. I don't care if what you write in your grant proposal is actually true or not. You can pretend that you're the head of some nonprofit. You could, or, conversely, you can say, we're the ideal people to do this work because we're a group of college students who are affected by these very issues. And so who knows better, we're going to catch things that other people are going to miss. There's so much research out there on, student perceptions about their dorms and about their quality of life, but none of it was designed by students. There's so much research out there about how public-private partnerships or privatization can be used effectively or not in universities, but they're only interviewing people who work in administration. they're not asking the students themselves who are actually using these facilities what they think about these changes. So I hope this helps clarify a little bit of what I'm looking for in part 2. I also would just remind you, I'm gonna, while I have my screen share on, go over to Canvas and remind you guys that we do have example proposals. And so if you're getting lost about, okay, what does she actually mean in this guide, right? What am I supposed to be doing? You can go over here under files and examples and past CLD 305 student proposals. Remember, you guys asked me to upload some of these. So I've got 7 different examples that I think were all strong and got good grades in the end. And so you can look and kind of see what they did. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I'm going to stop my screen sharing and sign off here. Please do feel free to get in touch with me if you're running into hiccups with your writing or with anything that's going on with the course. My cell phone number is 857-800-1584. You can also call me or text me. I really hope you guys are doing okay. Bye.